Hello guys, well done for getting here on time. We'll just give people a couple of minutes to join from the other lesson because it's that horrible, annoying single lesson. While we're waiting for them, in the chat room, if you can just type in hi or hello, so I know that I'm not talking to myself. Always good to know. Okay, at least we've got Liam that can hear me, that's cool. Wonderful. Okay, so yeah, just while we're waiting, can you go in and have a look at the essay question? Ah, yes, you're right, there are two here. I don't know why there are two going at one time. Maybe people are in the other Zoom. Maybe that's going to cause a problem for them. Let me have a look in my Zooms. Today. I can only see one in there today. I think because Liam, I swapped a Zoom around, but we'll see if people manage to get here. Who have we got? Oh, again, people are finding us, that's cool. All right, okay, wonderful, guys. Liam was a bit worried that because I swapped the Zooms around, you're in the wrong place, but we're here now. Okay, right, can you just check that essay question that you did? I have graded it and I have given you feedback. Can you open that up? I really hope that you are able to listen to the audio comments. So can you check the document? And if you can see the document and you have access to the comments that I've put on the side, and you can hear those comments, can you just type in yes? I'm really hoping it's going to be a yes, because I spent ages doing them last night. At least for one person. Hopefully, Anka, if it works for you, it's going to work for other people. Can you just go, guys, can you just go in and check that and either type in yes or no? Because that's new. I've not done this before, so I might have done it wrong. Okay, so we've got Anka and Ringo. All right, okay, that's absolutely fantastic. For homework tonight, you can listen to those comments. What I would like you to do is, okay, that's cool, Kane, thank you. Okay, so we're going to work through a very, very good example. This is level 7, level 6 or level 7. And do bear in mind that this is a student's work. If it's your work, you will know it's your work, and you can tell people if you want that it is your work. I personally would tell them it's your work because it's really actually very, very good. But I'm going to take you through step by step because this is a very, very good model. Okay, because like I said here, can you guys see my screen? Now hopefully you can see my screen. Okay, cool. All right, so we're in there. So you can see here what I've done is a health essay redraft. If you're the fantastic students whose essay we are looking at, you don't have to do that because actually it's very, very good. Everyone else, you do need to respond to those comments and improve your essay accordingly. But we're going to work through an example. It's always good to have a look a real example from a real student. Okay, so we're going to take you through step by step with this. So key thing here, it is a examine question. Therefore, it asks you to look at your, consider the assumptions and the interrelationships. Now, the exact balance of assumptions or interrelationships depends on the question. For this question, I would suggest to you it's interrelationships that are more important, but there are assumptions there. Now, this question is actually quite difficult to understand because it says may be, and that's a key thing. So it's asking you to project into the future. So let's talk about these essays where you have to project into the future. So key thing here, projecting into the future, is this understanding of short, medium, and long term. And that is one way that you could structure your answers. So for short term, we're looking in the good old communist style as a 5-year plan. So short term is in 5 years. Medium term, 5 to 10 years, depending on your definition. Long term is 10 years plus. So there are going to be certain things that we need to do immediately in the short term that will be beneficial. Then in the medium term, there'll be other things that could increase food production. And that's more emerging technology. As I said to you before, anything about food production, I wouldn't go anywhere near in vitro meat. Wouldn't go anywhere near it. The student has said here, a common assumption is the future of farming lies in vertical farming and in vitro farming. And that's absolutely fine. A few of you spent, and bear in mind that this essay is 600 words long. Some people spent 200 words, that's 1/3. 1/3 of the essay, excuse me, that's 1/3 of the essay talking about something, but that by their own admission is not going to increase food production. So what they said wasn't wrong. I'd agreed with everything they said. It doesn't really answer the question. That's 1/3 of the words. So you need to be very careful of that. This student has dealt with that very well, and they just said the common assumption, future farming, vertical farming, in vitro meat, no, it's not really going to increase food production. Now, another assumption that most students will bring to this is that the way to increase food production is only through the use of technology. However, we know that technology is important, but by itself, it's not. So food production it has a socio-cultural and political dimension to it. And there we're talking about SDG, I think SDG 15 and SDG 16. So there we're talking about good governance. There we're talking about partnership to achieve the goals of food security. Now, that sits independently of the technology. So the student here has focused on that. What I would suggest to the student is that they would explain, the assumption is it's just about the technology. Yes, they're going to talk about the technology, and yes, the technology is really important. But it also is a socio-cultural thing. So you also need to consider things like governance, accountability, and partnership, this student has chosen to focus on gender equality. And they've actually said gender equality is not something that we think about when we're talking about agricultural efficiency and production. If you're going to go down the gender equality route, which is a really good route to go down, make it clear that the benefits are going to be in low income countries. Addressing gender equality in the agricultural sector in high income countries is not going to make that much difference. The value added here and increasing food production is in low income countries and smallholder production. Now, I really like the language the student has used in this. So they've thought in a lot of detail about structuring their paragraphs and peeling their paragraphs. So it's this section here is crucial that we utilise a strategic systems-based approach. So straight away, the student comes in with those technical terms. It's strategic, planned over a long period of time, and it looks at the farm as a system with inputs, outputs, a system with inputs, processes, stores, and outputs. They've given that some context, and they said, you know, with the estimated growth in population by 2050 and the agricultural imperative, all the land's going to be used up. So the focus needs to be on food production, agricultural productivity. Then they go on to explain the role that gender empowerment has in low-income countries in achieving that. They then very quickly go on to talk about specific case study examples with statistics. Vietnam. So it's investment in women's education, agricultural training, but also equal labour market. Also the same legal rights to things like land ownership and the ability to obtain a loan. Now they're not technological, they're socio-cultural and political. They've closed that paragraph again very well. That last sentence here, very, very good. Gender transparent approach to farming in farming communities is key to providing food production, improving food production efficiency. I would put in there the word strategic as well. And notice how we mirror in the first and last sentence. They mirror each other. So they dealt with that. They dealt with a socio-cultural element first. Then they go on to talk about technology. This C4 and C3 pathway, that's going to be in the medium to long term. So I like how, even though they've not said it, they've ended up by default going from the short term socio-economic and political changes to medium term technological changes. So this C3, C4 pathway, we're not there yet with it. It's still experimental. It's going to come in the next 5 years or so. The student talks about strengthening resilience in local farms. Really good. They talked about the role that GMOs have there in not only growing crops efficiently and faster, but also cultivating unproductive land. I would personally not have put in this sentence about vertical farming and in vitro meat, because it's already been said. It's already been said that that's not going to be significant. I would use those words to give examples where GMO crops are bringing back unproductive land into production. So if you're talking about unproductive land, you could talk about soil that is too salty. So anywhere where there's a desert, you could talk about the Gobi Desert and salty soils there. You could talk about soil that has been flooded in Bangladesh by coastal flooding. That's become salty. You could talk about degraded land in sub-Saharan Africa that has become salty and become devoid of nutrients. So it's bringing that land in production. So here it's really important that the student gives a location to this. So this little section here where it talks about vertical farming and in vitro meat, again, you know, nothing wrong, nothing inaccurate what they said, but it doesn't really contribute to the question. Don't talk about things in detail that will not have an impact. There's no point. All you should do is challenge the assumption and say, then that's it. You'll notice now how the student has talked about the short term, talked about the medium term. In the medium term, technology starts to come in as being more important. And then they talk about the key, the long term. So they talk about agricultural investment. They talk about incentivizing small-scale producers. They talk about the role of SDG 15 and SDG 16. They've talked here, although it's not completely clear, I think they are here talking about Bangladesh. So Bangladesh has invested lots of money in their agriculture, and that's paying benefits. Bangladesh has developed high yield varieties. SDG 16 and 17. I think it might be, but that's fine. Yeah, 16 and 17, that's fine. Thank you, Sid. The fact they said SDGs 15 and 16 doesn't matter that much because I've actually stated what they are. But yes, Sid, I think you're right on that one. The importance here is that, and the students not said this, they're talking about interrelationships. So they're talking about the convergence or joining together of getting those socio-cultural and political things sorted out, and the technology and the investment. So you are showing that interrelationship. Now, a good word here to use is leverage. Leverage is when you do something to increase the impact of another strategy. So we'll go through this. What's Vietnam done? Well, they've sorted out gender equality. That has increased already without technology, agricultural production by 20 to 30%, just gender equality. Now the farmers earn more money. Therefore, they have more money to invest in their farm, so they can start investing in technology. Now you get, in English, sometimes we say a Brucey bonus. Bruce was a very famous person in the game show, and when you got double the money, he would say, "Ooh, Brucey bonus," and everybody was really happy. It's the 1970s, it was a long way back, and I'm showing my age now. But it really is that Brucey bonus, because you get double the return, at least double the return of the technology. So you've already increased your agricultural production by 20% by sorting out gender equality. They've done that in Vietnam, they're doing that in Bangladesh. They address that as a short-term thing. Medium term, then they're introducing these new technologies. The combination of gender equality and new technology means they both enhance each other. So there's a synergetic, what we call a synergetic effect. They both leverage each other, so the total gain is much greater than the two individual things by themselves. The sum is greater than the parts. At that stage, what have the student done? Have they dealt with specific geographical examples? Yes, they have. Have they challenged assumptions? Yes, they have, because they've challenged the assumptions that it's all about technology. Have they talked about the short, medium, and long term? Yes, they have. Although they haven't made it particularly clear in some places, they actually have. They have talked about the short, long, medium term, and long term, and they've placed that in the context of a particular country. Yes, they have done that. Have they talked about interrelationships? How gender equality interrelates with the efficiency of how technology is used and developed? Yes, they have shown those interrelationships. So you can see this student has worked tremendously hard on this essay. It really is one of the best essays I've ever seen, certainly at this stage of the course. Now, I'm not sure if the student wants to say whose essay this is. That's up to them, and I will let them do that. But I'm pretty sure this student spent a long time planning this. This essay did not just happen. If it did just happen, I'll be very surprised. They spent a long time planning this. So when I read some of the essays, it's kind of, I don't mean to be harsh, and I like to be as positive as I possibly can, but it's quite frustrating for me as a teacher when I know that you are all very talented geography students, and then you just go and write a load of babble without any case study evidence, without any structure, without really anything beyond general knowledge that is a little bit enhanced. I've said to a few people, and I'm really sorry if you're offended by this, it's not my intention, it sounds like a wiki. And I'm increasingly, you're not the only one to do that, if I've said that, increasingly I can see that wiki style of language coming through in essays across the board, in the other subjects that I teach and in the other year groups that I teach. So that's not unusual. I know that you guys have been reading a lot of wikis. It's not a wiki, it's an essay. Okay, FYI, I've recorded this, and I'm going to put this recording on Google Classroom for you, because you might want to look back at some of the specific things that I've said. You don't have to go back and listen to this again. So what you need to do, if it's okay, guys, is that you need to do this essay again. Obviously, you shouldn't copy what this excellent student has done. You should respond to the comments that I've put on the side. So I want to see, are you able to respond to the comments and improve it? We're not asking for the perfect essay. What I'm asking you to show is some degree of improvement that you've integrated those ideas. Now, I'm going to hang around for the next 10, 15 minutes, if you want, to answer your individual questions about the essay. So you can leave this chat room if you're happy and you want to get the essay started, or you can ask me questions. If you're happy with things, can I ask that you leave the chat room? If you're remaining in the chat room, it's an indication to me that you might have a question for me later on.
Can I ask?
Yes, Sharon.
So do I wait or should I redo my essay?
And if you're happy with everything and you haven't got a question for me, maybe a specific question about a specific comment I've made in the essay, you can leave the classroom.
No, because it's you asked me to type it up, so should I?
Oh right, okay. Yeah, okay. So do you mind doing that?
Yeah, I've already typed it up and I've put it.
Okay. So when you've typed it up, you didn't need to do that, by the way. I didn't make it clear that I wanted to be typed. Did you respond to the comments that I put there when you typed it up, or was it exactly the same essay?
I think it was just to you just wrote that I should type it up so it'd be easier to give detailed sentence level feedback.
Sorry, I meant I should have said next time. Did I not say next time?
I don't think so, no.
Sorry, I'm really sorry. I did it quite late at night. I was really tired. So it's just so like next time. So I have put that detailed comment on the side of the document. Were you able to see those and listen to those comments? Did it work in a PDF?
I don't know.
So when you open your PDF, the one that I've returned to you in Google Classroom, has it got highlighted sections on it? Let's have a look at it.
No.
It hasn't?
Yeah.
All right, okay, let's have a look. Yeah, because it's really difficult to work with a PDF. Let's have a look. What are we doing? Let's look. Where was it? Essay submission. Okay, let's have a look what you've done there. So it's over 2 pages, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay, do you not see those?
No. Could you send it by email instead?
Right, I think, yeah, I can. Yeah, all right. I think what I can do is it's a little bit inconvenient for you, but I will just send you those individual links here. You can't see the comments at all on the document. You can't see.
Um,
Right. I thought that might be the case. All right. Okay. So yeah, what I will do is I will send you through individually those voice
oh wait,
notes.
no, it's okay. I have to open it into a new
Ah,
window. That's how.
can you see them now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. The important thing is that you can hear those comments, so you can see that I have put them on there, but it's quite difficult. It's actually difficult for you to see exactly the sections that I'm talking about. Do you want to open up one of those comments to make sure they work? You should hear me talking about the essay.
Yeah.
They do work. Okay, cool. That's fantastic, Sharon. So thank you very much for typing that up again. And I'm sorry I didn't make that very clear. But on this one, so for homework tonight, if you can improve your essay based on those comments, so I can see that you understand how to move things forward. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Sims?
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, I just have one question, not related to the essay.
Not relating to the essay.
So basically, I'm flying tonight.
All right. Okay.
So tomorrow's lesson, I think I won't be able to make it because I land by like 10 o'clock Hong Kong time.
Oh, that's not good enough, Sid, is it? It's not.
Yeah, I land tomorrow at 10. So like tomorrow, I won't be able to make it to school, like any lesson.
That's not a problem. If you're flying, you're flying. And if you can't do the lesson, you can't do the lesson. That's absolutely fine. Can you just let your form tutor know that that's the...
Yeah, I've emailed Mr. Chan.
Okay, that's great. Just so we know where you are. Yeah, of course that's okay, Sid. You know, it's just those circumstances, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Well, it'd be nice to have you back in Hong Kong. Yeah, and
yeah, finally.
All right then, Sid. But thanks for letting me know. Okay. Cool.
Also, Mr. Sims. On Evidencer, I've gotten a level 5 as a grade, but then on the document it's written it's a level 6. I'm not sure what's the grade then.
All right, okay. So there's actually not space for this on Evidencer. All right. So this one, I did say it's going to go onto Evidencer, and when I went to put it into Evidencer, it hasn't got any space on there. Okay. So yeah,
that's probably my last essay then.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And I can't change that because Evidencer it shows progression over a period of time. So don't worry that you've got a level 5 for it. The important thing is now that you've moved that into a level 6. So what you'll probably find is we're going to do another question for the core. And what you'll probably find is that because your general understanding of how to write essays is now sitting at a level 6, then the essay that you're going to do in the core will be a level 6. But don't worry that it's a level 5. You know, you're showing progression. If your parents question that, then I can send them an email just to confirm that you got a level 6 for this latest one and you are moving in the right direction. That's the most important thing, Sid. So if your parents start...
Okay, so I got a level 6, right? Just confirm because...
Yeah, did I give you a level 6 for the essay? Last one, the one that you've just done?
The one that we just submitted, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. So if your parents are hassling you about that, show them the essay, show them what you've put on there. If they're satisfied, get them to send me an email and I'll explain the situation.
Yeah, sure.
You are improving. Because I know sometimes parents, they can be very well intentioned, but they can be a bit like...
That's true.
Yeah, I know. I know what Asian... I know what Asian parents... All right. All right. Okay. Hopefully,
thank you.
Back in Hong Kong tomorrow. Okay, Sid.
Yeah. Okay.
Great work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Mr. Sims.